Welcome, everyone, on this glorious day in November 12th. It is 1 p.m. on the East Coast. It is 10 a.m. on the West Coast. And in South Africa, it is 8 p.m.
8 p.m., baby.
Yeah. So on that note, I'd like to welcome my co-host, Vernon. How are you doing from South Africa today?
I'm doing good, thanks, Mike. Yeah. It's been a good day. It's been a nice windy day, but it's good.
Well, I am so happy about that. And we would like to welcome our guest today from The Voice season. See, I'll probably mess this up.
26.
26. Still can't believe it's 26, but it is. 26. Gail Bliss. Gail, how are you doing today?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Well, we are happy to have you with us. Now, anyone that is in our chat room, you can ask a question to Gail. We've got a couple of questions already.
Excellent.
And let's see, this one's from our friend Arc54. Says, "Hi, Gail. I'm a huge Patsy Cline fan and thought your coverage of her music was top shelf. In finding all that music, I also was able to find other amazing work you have done. Can't wait for more."
Oh, I love to hear that. Yeah, I have had a lot of time in my life standing in the boots of Patsy Cline, which is a total honor. In fact, way back in the 1990s, I was just singing clubs all around the Mid-Atlantic. I had two bands that were working 5 nights a week. One was a blues band. It was called the Bliss Blues Band. And the other was a Western swing band, the Lone Starlets. And I had this fan that was in my audience one night, and I started to perpetuate a conversation with him. And he was a guy that booked nationally touring theatrical shows. And when I asked him more, I said, like what? And he showed me all these various theatrical things that I hadn't grown up in musical theater. I didn't know much about it. But then he talked about this show called A Closer Walk with Patsy Cline. And I asked him, "Do you need a Patsy by any chance?" And he said, "No." But as it turned out, long story short, they did need one. And so that was the beginnings of my being cast in the role of Patsy Cline in a very large theatrical show that I went on tour with nationally twice. I had some big sit downs with the show. And long story short, I ended up directing and producing and working with Patsy Cline's husband, Charlie Dick.
Oh, wow.
Doing the show. And he became a big fan, a big friend. I'm a friend still with Patsy's family, with her daughter. Charlie has since passed away. Of course, Patsy passed away in 1963 when I was just born. But I still stay in touch with the Cline family and have sang that music a lot. I love it. Some people say I'm a dead ringer, no pun intended with that, of like Patsy. But I have stood in those boots for many, many years with privilege and honor to do that. Yeah. But there's a lot more to my voice, and like the ARC lady or man, whoever that is, said
it's a lady.
A lady saw that I do all kinds of other stuff too, and that's kind of what The Voice decided to peg me as, country artist, kind of a bluesy country artist. But there's just so many sides to not only what I sing, but also what I enjoy listening to and performing. And I do love acting still too. So I'm glad this person found my Patsy world and the Patsy connection there too, because it is very important to me and big part of my life.
That's amazing.
And then she asked, she's got two others. Let me ask this one. Are you going to tour with your music? And if so, when?
Oh, of course. I'm always open to getting out there. Of course, things were kind of on hold with The Voice.
Yes.
You don't know how far you're going to progress in the show. And so they want to make sure you're available to that filming schedule that they have. So I did not book anything else for the rest of this particular year. But in 2025, I'm going to come out swinging again. And I've got a project called Gail Bliss and the Nashville Barn Dance. And all my guys predominantly come from Nashville, which is Music City, Tennessee. And we do good old fashioned country music. I love the classics. I grew up with a father who sang a lot of that country music. That's where I learned to sing mainly. It was singing with my dad and my sister at home And Dad was courted by RCA Records in 1963. Again, he was firstborn. Yes, and Chet Atkins was the head of RCA Records at that time. Of course, we're talking old school. A lot of the younger people won't even know who I'm talking about.
Oh, no, but that's okay. Us old folks will, so, you know.
I found that out when my singing partner, my battle partner on The Voice, Christina Eagle, her mega mentor, if you watched The Voice last night, she was on, but the mega mentor was Sting and of the Police, you know, and she said she didn't even know who he was. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Wait a minute. Was she the one that went up and shook his hand?
Yes, she did.
Oh, I was going like, I went, oh my God. I thought to I watch, she'll be on the show and she'll be mad at me because I said something. But I kind of went, I don't think she knows who he is.
No, she didn't. She didn't. Very
but, you know, I mean,
that's the beauty.
I was shocked when Sting was on. I really was. I just went,
oh, what a legend.
Sting?
Yeah, what a legend.
Wow.
But, you know, that's kind of the beauty of the formatting of The Voice. They don't have an age limit, you know, so I think they have for minors, they have an age limit. You have to be at least 13, I think.
I think it's 12 or 13, yeah.
Yeah, I was the oldest contestant. I think I'm the oldest contestant ever on the show.
Really?
Yes, at 61 years old. And my sparring partner on the battles was Christina, who I love, and she's doing really well with the show. You could, as you've been watching, but she's 37 years younger than me. So that's a beautiful thing, you know, really to cross those age groups with music, because music, as Vernon will know, you know, it's the international language, and it speaks no matter what your age, no matter where you're living, no matter where you're at. Music moves you. And so there's a lot to be learned. I learned a lot from the younger people on the show, and I hope that they learned a little bit from me. So I don't even know where I was going with the answer to all that question. Yes, I will be touring. Yes, I will be touring.
You're talking about doing concerts. That's what we started with.
Yes, exactly it. So classic country, but I've got some of the Voice contestants that want to join me in some of these concerts. So that'll be really fun.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
But I also have another life. You know, I'm a dual career person, and I have been for all my adult years. I also am a flight attendant, international flight attendant. And in my show, I actually introduced the audience to the fact that I am a flight attendant, because I usually don't talk about being an airline person to my audiences, and my airline people don't know that I'm a singer until this voice thing happened and they showed me on the airplane and the whole 9 yards. But I do a bit in my show all about the flight attendant. It's kind of a comical thing. And I have a little beverage cart that's got my logo on it, Bliss Airlines logo on it.
Nice.
And I hand out the snacks, and I do the, you know, in the unlikely event of a sudden change in cabin pressure, the mask compartment located above your seat. We do a whole spiel on that. And then I go into singing Steve Miller's "Oh, Big Old Jet Airliner." You know, we do that.
Oh, my word.
Have a lot of fun in my show. It's very personal. And so, yes, my answer to that is I hope to bring that around to more and more cities across the U.S., get back out there in Gail Bliss's boots now, not Patsy Cline's boots, and trying to bridge the gap between now that I'm done with The Voice and what happens next. I'm looking at putting out a music video of one of my Christmas songs, one of my Christmas singles that I'm planning to drop here real soon. And it's a country rocker, an original that I wrote.
Oh, good.
Yes. And it happens to be about, it's a true story, but it's a comical way of presenting it. But my husband sprung on me a couple years ago that he was going to go take a 7-month contract in Antarctica, of all places. I'm like, where? And he said, Antarctica. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You don't even like the cold. And we live in a tropical place, you know, for the most part, South Carolina on the coast. And so off he goes to Antarctica as a crane operator down there and a heavy equipment operator. And he was gone for a long time, all the way through Christmas, all the way through the holidays. My birthday's the day after Christmas. He was gone then. And so it was all about the story of, oh my God, you're going where? And then I'm going to have to save up all the Christmas presents. And I'm going to have to keep the Christmas tree up and wait till you come back in the month of February, kind of thing. So that's getting ready to be released publicly real soon. And we'll see what happens, you know, after that.
So then he was down in Antarctica when most of the people, they're there summer.
Exactly. Well, he was there the first year. He was there for a lot of the winter too, and then
really?
Through the summer, yes, because he went. I think he went in August. He went in August and didn't come back until mid-February. So he got a bit of the winter.
Yeah, what is summer to them? Is it like 1 week long and 2 degrees warmer? What is summer in Antarctica?
And a little bit of nighttime, you know. It was so funny because here it was New Year's Eve for us, and in the middle of the day, it looked like the day. It was daylight, and that was, bringing the new year. It never even got dark.
No,
it's fascinating.
Yeah, they have 24 hours sun like 3-4 months out of the year at least.
Right. So it's a fascinating life that he lives, and I wrote a song about it. It's a Christmas song. It's called Holly and Mistletoe. And hopefully you'll be hearing a lot more about that real soon.
Oh, well, hopefully we will. Vernon, do you want to get to a fun question or not question?
I just want to say for myself personally, I don't care where I'm going. I just have to be on one of your flights, Gail. You are so vibrant. I mean, it has nothing to do with age. So I don't want to say it's impressive because of how experienced you are in life. Let's say it like that. But it's just I mean, you've got a wonderful, just vibrant personality, and I can just imagine you just put people in just a great space of mind.
Oh,
and and I also want to say, before things kick off like seriously, and you have to leave the flight attending for a while, you have to make at least one trip to South Africa. So
I would love to. Can I come and visit you and you can show me around?
You must.
Okay. I'll count on it.
That'd be so cool.
I'm still trying to get down there myself. So.
I hope you can. Yes, I hope you can.
I do too. Let me go to one question before I go back to Vernon. This is just kind of a statement from Tammy. Such a great interview. Great job, Gail Bliss artist.
Yay! Thank you.
Someone you know, or?
Actually, it is. It's one of my besties from my hometown in Southern Oregon, Grants Pass, Oregon. So big shout out to the Grants
there you go. There you go. Vernon, go ahead. You had some.
No, I mean, it's just always fascinating just getting to know someone, even if it's just like a little peek in. But just tell us a bit about your journey, just growing up and your influences and what really got you into your musical journey.
Well, my musical journey was a lot by accident. I grew up and my dad sang. My mother she said she couldn't sing a lick, and she really couldn't. She said that I would cry my eyeballs out when she tried to sing Rockabye Baby to me because it was so bad. But she did have good rhythm, and she danced. And so she always said, you got the voice from your dad, but you got the rhythm from me. So my sister sang, but it came naturally to my family. I remember my dad would sit and play his Gretsch guitar, and we would sing some song that he was doing, and the harmonies and everything came really natural to me. I could just hear the progressions, the chord progressions. And I believe that is a God-given gift, that it just, in that regards, it can't be taught. And so I grew up with a natural, innate ability to harmonize and structure a song, at least a country song back in the day, because that's what my dad was singing. But he also sang pop songs of the day, like Nat King Cole and Lena Horne and artists such as that. So those were my influences, whether I realized it or not, that were innate in me. And I never had the thought that I want to sing for a living or I'm a good singer or anything like that. I did play woodwind instruments. I started on the clarinet and then went later to saxophone. I still play saxophone, tenor, and saxophone. It's a fun instrument. And so I studied in band, and I learned to read, notes and played in orchestral symphonic settings. But as far as being a singer, it never even occurred to me, especially not doing it professionally until much later in life. So influences, I could say number one influence was my dad. Number two influence was the stuff that he listened to. So it was Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, Eddie Arnold, some Patsy Cline. If there were to be a country female artist being played in my house, it would likely have been her, because she crossed over. He didn't like twangy country at all. So I never was introduced to that until much later in my life as well. He
Mm.
didn't like hillbilly music at all. He liked the smooth pop sound. So I have a very smooth sound to my voice, a low,
Mm.
deep alto. I'm a contra alto. And I just kind of naturally developed that over time with singing with my dad and my sister. So later, I tried out for a couple opportunities to sing in my youth, in school bands or school choir. I didn't like it at all. It was too rigid for me, and it seemed like the sopranos all got the solos, so I never had anything fun to do. I was always
Yeah.
down on the low parts, having no idea how important those low parts are. But
Yeah.
everybody here watched my blind audition, or not, my battle rather, with Christina. They may have heard that I was the really low part to her high part. I was
Mm.
even at octaves. Sometimes we would sing Redneck Woman in octaves
Yeah.
apart. But then I also flipped up to the high part too. So I've learned
Hey.
those skills through the years. But I do have that deep voice, and that didn't seem to be much appreciated in high school. So I poo-pooed off the choir and all that. I didn't like that. And then my friends were all singing. Nothing against these folks, but they were singing like Donny Osmond type choir-ish music. And I was more Jackson 5. I loved the black soul coming out of Memphis and LA and that kind of thing. And so my ear was just, I liked that kind of music. So I kind of quit singing. It just didn't do anything for me in any organized fashion until my wedding to Mr. Bliss. I came by that name, honestly. Bliss is my stage name at this point because I am no longer married to Mr. Bliss, but I kept the name because it's a good one for the stage. But on wedding day, my dad, the musician, set in with the party band. And he said, "Come on, Gail, come up here and sing one." Oh, I was mortified. I'm like, what am I going to sing? I have no idea how to do this with a band or whatever. Yeah. So I got up there and belted one out. And all my friends at that time looked at me like, what was that? Where did that come from? And I
who are you?
Exactly. And so on my honeymoon, my husband said to me, what do you plan to do with your life? You want to work? You want a career? What do you want to do? And I was taken back by his question at that point because I had just graduated college with a degree in agriculture. I'm a farm girl. I thought I wanted to go into agricultural marketing or something like that. And I thought, why is he asking me that? Isn't it obvious? I studied so hard to get that degree. And then he said, no, really, if you could do anything and be paid for it, what would it be? I was 26 years old at the time. And I came back after about 3 days and I said, if I could do anything, I would sing and dance and be on a stage and play my saxophone. He says, well, then why don't you do that? And I said to him, you got to be kidding me. Only rich people do that, or famous people, or, children of famous people, not me, not just a little country kid from Southern Oregon. And he's like, why not? And so that was my first inclination that maybe there was something to that. And I never had allowed myself to dream like that. I was from a very small town. It was a privilege to work in a sawmill or be a fireman or a nurse or work in a restaurant, but to be a singer, unheard of. So I started dreaming for the first time in my life, and I started talking some big stories. And at that moment, when people would ask me, even though I'd been flying now with American Airlines at that point for 3 years, when people would ask me, aside from the airline, what do you do for a living? I'd just flat out say, oh, I'm a singer, sax player, never having done any of that professionally. I was just BSing my way into this dream world that I was imagining, but by golly, it worked. And the next thing you know, I got on a stage and I was asked to play sax and sing backup in a band in Los Angeles. It was a Louisiana R&B band, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But the minute that spotlight hit my face and I started singing and this band was grooving, I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? Whatever this is, I love it. This is what I want to do. Well, come to find out later, the band that I was with, they were Aaron Neville's band, for those of you that are older that know who Aaron Neville is, and the Meters out of New Orleans. These were those cats. That was their rhythm section. And that's why it felt so good, because the music was top notch. They were the guys that were being played on pop radio across the world at that time. And I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. So from that point on, I started telling people that's what I did. I was a singer-songwriter, and I just kind of BS'd my way onto a bunch of stages, to be honest. The next year had me in the Mid-Atlantic, where I decided, okay, it's time to get my own band instead of playing with somebody else. And I got brave again, kind of like I did all those years later, hitting the audition button for The Voice at 60 years old. But what I did was I submitted my entry to the W.C. Handy Awards for blues artist in the Mid-Atlantic. And they needed music at that time. I sent a little cassette in, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I sent a little cassette in because they needed to hear who you were, what you did, to see if you'd be entered in the contest. The winner of the contest would go to Chicago to be in the W.C. Handy Awards for the blues, situations. I love blues music. And so I didn't have a band. I just moved to Mid-Atlantic. I didn't have anything recorded. I had nothing. So what did I do? I sent in a recording of that band that I had played with in LA. The lead singer was a woman. I said it was me. It was not me.
Oh my goodness.
I sent it in. I said, this is my band. This is what I do. It was those guys from New Orleans. I totally said, I just kept BSing my way right. And we got accepted. So now it's like, okay, you have, and you better find a band and you better sound as good as that recording. That's what I did. We didn't win, but we came in second. And that got me all kinds of bookings all across the Mid-Atlantic.
Oh, yeah.
And getting one of the agents in the country, a booking agent in the country. I toured. I did all kinds of things with those bands back in the day, the Bliss Blues Band. And it was all just because I was talking up a big story. So here I was, fast forward all those years later, all my Patsy Cline touring, all my other records, all my other stuff. At 60 years old, I, established as a country artist in certain circles, also Western swing, and still doing blues and whatever really floats my boat. I hit that audition button for The Voice, thinking nothing would come of it, but it did, and I got to go all those weeks with The Voice and being out there in LA with that cast. It was just fun as heck. And so I'm still living, I'm still dreaming. I'm hopefully inspiring other people to go for it. I didn't start till I was 26. And some of these kids on that show were 13 years old and singing like they were 40.
Oh, I know.
Joaquin last night. What an amazing talent.
Man. Oh,
crazy.
Yeah, he's just a mature old soul in that young man's voice, and he lives what he sings about. He's just amazing. And what was I doing at 13? Racing motorcycles with my dad, fishing, and
that's also good. That's also good.
Yeah, well, it was all good. It all makes me who I am today. But boy, these kids were very inspiring. But I hope that I can inspire other people that haven't really let themselves dream to say, come heck or high water, hook or crook, I'm going to do and live my dream. And that's what I had to do. I wasn't honest about it to start, but the ultimate result got me where I wanted to go. And, so I made it happen myself. I certainly wasn't born into any privilege other than hearing my dad, who had a beautiful voice and mimicking his sound. So that's a very long answer to your question. I have stories for days.
That's a good answer. We want to know the good bits, So I mean that's one of the coolest stories as well. Just how you got into it, and I mean we're getting the scoop. We're getting the whole scoop now.
You are getting the whole scoop. Well, there's more. There's more silliness, but there's really.
Oh man, no, that's really really amazing. And have you always been a fan of The Voice, just like watching it and so on?
You want to hear more of my silliness?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
This is embarrassing, and this is okay. First of all, let me tell you, in my band, I have a musician. He's blind. His name's Rory Hoffman. I'm going to give him a shout out because he's worth looking up. He's an amazing musician. He plays 16 instruments to stratospheric levels. He lives in Nashville. He's getting ready to go out on tour with Ricky Skaggs. He's just amazing musician. So, but he's blind. So I have a little sensibility to that. Well, okay. So when I got on The Voice, when I realized, oh gosh, this is progressing to the point that that I'm going to be on it. And I'm like, I guess I better watch it. I've never seen it. So I had a friend, a flight attendant friend, whose mother said to me, "You've never seen the show and you're going to be on it?" And I said, "Yes." And she says, "Oh, you're going to lose."
Whoa, okay.
Because you have to know what you're getting into. She's like, "You can't. No, nobody's going to vote for you." She was so brutally honest, and it was so cute. And I was like, "Oh, I guess I better go watch the show," you know. Yeah. So I happened to be in London on a layover, and on the television one night comes the UK version of The Voice. As we know, this show is on in different countries, and they all have their version. So I'm thinking, well, here I am. I guess I'll watch tonight. And so next thing I know, here come the blind auditions, and I'm thinking, oh, I didn't realize they had a handicap version. Okay, let's watch this. You know, I can relate. So I'm watching these performers, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, they really negotiate that stage really well for being blind. And I am in hook, line, and sinker, thinking this is for blind people, having no idea there was the blind auditions, having no idea. Is that embarrassing or what? Okay, there you have it. I am blonde. Well, at least I'm dyed blonde. Oh my gosh. So no, had I always been a fan of the Voice or reality? No, not at all. Not at all. No, but I am now. And I love watching my friends, and I love watching being on their cheerleading squads, you know, for the people that are still on the show. I am all in their corner and really enjoying it.
Yeah, to think there's such an accumulation of talent, and it's year for year, like semester for semester. You know, it's like they just keep popping it out, and I mean, it almost feels like, wow, so many of these people deserve to really have that moment and have it go further. And there's just so many talented people coming out of it. So I mean, I can totally see why, even just as a outsider, or just what looking in, how people enjoy it so much, and why we also enjoy it. You know, just watching and hearing people's stories, just getting to know their personalities through their music. So yes, amazing.
I was blown away when I got out there to Burbank, is where we filmed on Universal Studios, and we're all in this hotel. And you know, here I've been singing professionally nearly 40 years. I'm entrenched in the kind of style of music that I do. But here I was walking down the halls of the hotels, hearing all these awesome voices coming out of the rooms, you know, in every style. And it was like, oh my God, they're so good. And then when the person comes out of the room and I see someone that's 20 years old and has
or less.
Yes, or less, like 13-year-old Joaquin, such an incredible gift. And just so, you know, so entrenched in music and vibrant, and it was just so exciting. I just thought, well, this is exactly where I need to be, because I was so lifted up by all of it. But yeah, all different styles, so much talent, just blows me away of how much every single person I met out there that I sang alongside, I feel like all of them, you know, could be on the record label and on the radio today. All of them, they're all worthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is about marketing and, you know, being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Never giving up, a lot of grit and determination, perseverance. But it's so odd to me that so many of these contestants have never seen a stage. They've just done it all on their telephone, you know,
on
TikTok. And here I don't even know how to use TikTok. I'm trying to figure that out. For me, I come from the school of hard knocks. I've been out there on those stages with those bands, running a band, working a band, being in a van, bus and truck tours for years. And some of these kids, you know, get on the stage of The Voice saying, this is the first time I've ever sang in front of anybody publicly. That blows me away, you know, and still they did a great job. So there's so many resources available to individuals now to have an outlet for their music, to have an outlet for their creativity, and even to learn skills, you know, online. You can take guitar lessons or, whatever, learned recording technology. And a lot of these people have really wonderful, sound systems and setups in their homes where they can record these very professional sounding, not CDs, but singles, drop singles in this network. Whereas for me, all my 7 records are in the studio in Nashville, live with big musicians and high price tags, because I've never done that just thing where I do it at home, but it's fascinating. That's a lot of the stuff I learned from the younger people.
It is a crazy new world, and it's also crazy to think how much it progressed, where people can now be, like you said, bedroom producers, but or like even studios, more professional studios, but at home, and it's much more of a DIY type situation, and that's just the era we live in now, and
and they're being discovered like that. People are being discovered online, by their number of followers and how often they're putting things out. And it's a crazy world to me. I'm trying to learn it. It's not the easiest thing. And I don't have a lot of interest in learning it, but I know it's part of, if I'm still going to stay in it, I've got to learn it. It's got to be part of what I do.
100%. Tell me also, how was it hanging with your coach?
Snoop? I've got my Death Row records on. It probably looks backwards to you, but I love Snoop. But what an unlikely choice for me, right?
Yeah.
But frankly, if I'd had it go a different way, let's say I had a 4-chair turn, and I had my choice, I probably would have selected Reba because she's country, she's an actress, she's seasoned, she's in my age bracket. She's a woman, and I thought she would relate. So that would have been so cliche, though, and it would be just like me, as it turned out, to have the most unlikely coach for me save me. And I just felt very fortunate that it went down the way it did, because I like surprise. I like adventure. When you see me jumping up and down like a crazy hyena when he saved me on that battle round, it was authentic and real, because I was so surprised. We didn't know that replay
was even there. Yeah.
No, we didn't even know that was an option. So I was so confused. You see me tilt my head. I'm like,
going,
what?
Huh?
What's happening? Yeah. What do you mean? So it was so fun, and I'm glad it worked out the way it did. He's great, just fun. He's chill, of course, very loving, very sensitive,
and he's done it all. I mean, he's done it all.
He has. He's the darling of music right now. He's all over the world right now. I guess his wife manages him. And she must be something else, because he's just, I can't imagine a busier entertainer right now.
He's doing commercials on TV now too.
Yeah, he's doing commercials.
I just was like, when did he start doing commercials?
He's with Martha Stewart, a lot. They've struck up this friendship, and I'm like, well, I'm in, because he must like older white women. So count me in. I can hang with Martha.
There you go.
Stu, Martha, come on.
Oh, that's cool. That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, I think people have just, everyone knew him, but now they just feel this affinity with just him as a even, closer representation of what he's all about, and just seeing him. And I think he's been, barring all of the wonderful talent, he's been like the revelation of the season as well. So I think people have just enjoyed him so much.
I think so.
Just his wit and, his little sayings, his one-liners. I think that's so cool.
His gangster Holy Ghost, right?
Yeah.
I think he started the gangster Holy Ghost with us.
Yeah.
But the gangster Holy Ghost has been showing up all over the place lately. So.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. We're moving him, we're moving him. So it's been fun. Yeah, very fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, let me go to a couple of the other little I have a couple statements. I think it's other people. Tammy just had a follow-up and says, love you, Gail. And then Linda Yarel Day says, I'm here, always entertaining, gal. And then someone I think you might know if they're telling me the truth.
Oh my goodness, I do know very well, my lovely sister. And
Sister Cheryl. Yes. Hi,
Cheryl.
sis.
And, talking about inspiring people to sing, my sister, she's 8 years older than me, and I'm going to shout out her age right now. She's going to kill me, but she's turning 7.
But you're only 26, so
yeah, right. You got it backwards. But she just turned 70, and she is still singing. She's out there singing regularly with worship services at her church, playing her guitar. And she's back at it too. So once she's retired now and has a beautiful voice, and we have that family harmony together, which is so special. So we're hoping that, we can still stay at it and do some things together as well. So that's awesome.
So is she going to go on The Voice, 2 more seasons or something?
Maybe. Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, that'd be hysterical. But yeah.
She says, let's go on it as a duo. And I say, no, you just go. Come on, Cheryl, get out there.
No, that would actually, honestly, family harmony is the best.
She, her voice and my voice are quite different, actually. And I was just there in Oregon with her last week, and we were singing and having some fun together. And she was inspired by like Linda Ronstadt and the Blue Bayou era and Emmylou and various songs. And she does have a different voice than myself, but together, it's just that family thing. You just can't beat it.
No.
So that's neat.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth says, I hear birds.
Oh.
Do you have one? If so, what do they think when you sing?
I have lots of birds, and you probably can hear them. I don't own them, but they're the wild birds here in the Carolinas. They're just all over the place. And it's funny that she heard that. My mom, who both of my parents have passed away now, but I was a caregiver for my mom. She lived in our home for the last 5 years of her life. And she would always say to me, okay, honey, because I was working in a theater situation here, a variety show called One at the Alabama Theater in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, for years and years. So every night I would go to work. And so she was here. I would work by night and care for her during the day. And my husband would work during the day and take care of her at night when I was at work. But she was so sweet. When I would get ready to leave for work, she'd say, okay, honey, go sing like a bird. And then I was also a runner, a distance runner, and I'd get up early in the morning to go take my run. She'd say, run like the wind. And so she had these little one-liners that were always very encouraging to me. So one day I was out sitting on my front porch writing some music, and I thought, I've got to write something about Mother. And this bird came up and just started tweeting so loud. So I started to come up with a song that I'm going to finish at some point, hopefully for my next record. That's most likely going to be some sort of a Christian inspired record, but it's called Sing Like a Bird. And, sing like a bird, fly like the wind, celebrate each moment, let your voice be heard, sing like a bird.
Nice.
So, the birds are here. The birds inspire me. Nature inspires me. I love the dirt. My whole family does. We're country folk. We'd love to fish and, like I said, ride motorcycles and garden and things like that. So I love the birds. Thank you for hearing the birds. I hear them too.
That's awesome.
And you live at the beach now, pretty much.
Yeah, very close. We live about 3 lots from the Intercoastal Waterway here in South Carolina. I'm right on the North Carolina, South Carolina border. My biggest nearest big city would be Myrtle Beach, but I'm also not far from Wilmington, North Carolina. Very historic areas. In fact, you might be able to tell by the surroundings of my home. It's it's an old home. It's built in 1848. One of the oldest homes still standing in our county. Of course, we get tornadoes and hurricanes here, which is not any fun.
Stuff,
yeah, but this house is still standing, and I'm still standing, and that's the area in which we live, not far from the ocean, but real close to the Intercoastal.
Well, that is cool. We're probably going to wrap it up in a few minutes, but so is there anybody in the chat room that I've gone through all the questions we had, I hope, but if anybody else wants to make a statement, comment, question, want to know why Gail hasn't come to their town to do a concert, things like that,
Come on, chime in, everybody.
Yeah, but if you can't chime in, then we're probably going to go. But I just want to go a little bit more. You didn't know about that save that the judges could do, and you were just. We had someone else that had that happen to them, and they were like, had no clue what was going on.
Yep, there's the 4 of us, because each coach had one.
Right.
And so we called ourselves the No Turners, the Replays. That's gonna be our band name when we all get together. It's one of the Jalen, and then Mark Sheba and Kendall Eugene and myself.
Yeah.
We're the Replays.
Yeah. Kendall was our first one that we had on for this season.
Great.
And so he was telling us about, it's like, it was like a shock. And I mean, it was a shock when I heard about it, and I go, you know what? I have seen judges get very upset that whatever reason that they didn't turn and they wish they had, and it was too late. So I thought that was a really good little thing they added this year.
Yes. I wonder if they'll keep it. You never know. Each season.
You never know. No, you
now
never
that I've
know.
been watching, each season seems to have its own little twists and turns. So
They do. They do.
I think at some point they need to have a reunion of the oldest and the youngest, because then I'll know I get to come back.
Well, I guess they could do some big production number during a live show or something. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Because they have had people come back during the live shows, either from
awesome.
Previous seasons or whatever. Yeah, so you just never know.
You never know. Yeah, we can hope.
Yeah, and then Tammy says, we all want you to come home to Southern Oregon and play for your home.
Oh, I know. Well, we're working on it, Tammy. We are working on it. That's going to be hopefully in 2025. Hey.
And then Sarah says, hi from, is this Art?
Art Woolard. Oh, let me tell you, I love you, Art. Sarah, thank you for saying hi. Art Woolard was one of my very first employers, and poor guy. My mom had moved my mom and dad got divorced, and then our county did not pass the bill for school buses to go way out in the country where I lived. So I needed a car, and Mom knew that. And Art was her friend, and he owned a car lot. And she said, hey, can you put Gailey to work doing anything on the lot and give her a car to drive? So he was so sweet. He gave me the first cars I had were like a Corvette and a Trans Am, and these.
Oh, that's the only way to go.
Only way to go, unless your person, me, wrecks all of them. I had 12. I wrecked 12 of his cars in 1 year. 1 year, 12 of Art Woolard's vehicles. And he's still friends with me, if you can believe it. And I've never had another accident since. And when I see Art to this day, he says, yeah, insurance bill was pretty high back then. Oh, my God. Now, is that a good friend or what? Oh,
that is a good friend.
Another thing that happened back then was Mount St. Helens in Washington. Yeah. It blew its top. And so I was a car detailer on Art's lot when all this ash was falling on all the vehicles. It was not a fun job to have at that time. Although they liked the young girl on the corner that was out there detailing the cars. I tell you, I probably turned some heads back in the day. But
I'm sure you did.
Despite the fact that I wrecked all this guy's cars. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. I think my last car was one of those Pintos that was sure a far cry from the Corvettes that I had in the beginning. And was one of those Pintos, if you hit the back of it, it would explode.
I had one of those, Gail. That was my first car, was a Pinto.
Oh my gosh. Well, then you can relate. So
I can totally relate. Yes.
I got downgraded in Art's world, but Art, thank you for chiming in, both of them.
Trans Am to Pintos. Yeah.
Crazy life.
That is a crazy life.
I told you I have some stories to tell. I've got a lot.
Oh man, I don't want it to stop.
No,
and always have me back.
Well, that was my next statement. If I hadn't done it, I know Vernon would have said it. But Gail, if you'd ever like to come back and just chit chat about more crazy stories,
I would love to,
or whatever, or where you have to travel, and who recognized you on a plane when you started singing, stories like that. Say, you were on The Voice. I saw you, whatever,
I would love to come back. We just have to set a date and I'll be there. And next time I'll have figured out a little bit better so that I can get the word out to my social media world a little more, because
a
I'm
little
like I
earlier, but
said,
they can still look at this afterwards. So
how do I tell them to do that again?
you just give them the link, say, listen to my show, I just did it. It's cool. You can rewatch it.
Okay, good. I will do that. But next time I'll figure it out a little bit more in advance, because I'm learning. I can learn.
There is a learning curve. No,
Yes, there is.
Curve.
But I'd love to come back. I do have
We
lots
would
of stories.
so love to have you come back.
I think, Mike, next time it's going to be myself and Gail on this side of the stream, and we're going to sit here, and then we're going to have a chat with you over there in America. Unless you want
I can see that happening. I can see that happening.
Yeah, I think
Why
that's
not?
definitely a vibe. Gail,
Yes, that would be awesome.
It's been really special. You are just a ray of sunshine, and you just put a smile on our faces. And thank you just for your beautiful heart and being such a kind and an energetic presence and sharing your story with us.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. And I'm coming to South Africa. I'm going to look
Yeah,
you up.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
That is cool. So everybody out there in cyberspace, thank you for coming.
Yes.
Watch us. And I'm going to say that I have totally confirmed. So this will be some people that Gail knows, I think. Tomorrow evening, I have Cassidy Lee on.
Wonderful.
At 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And on the 17th of November, which Vernon doesn't even know about this one yet, Kiara Vega and Ilea. How do you say her last name? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, Kale or something like that. From The Voice, and that would be at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Or if you happen to be in South Africa hanging out, that's at 8 p.m. their time.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 21st of November, you didn't know about this one yet. See, Vernon, this is why I said, I'm going to tell you some new people we've got coming on.
Been a busy time, man.
I know. 21st of November, we have Michael Alexanderson coming on with us.
Oh, I love Michael.
At 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and again, 8 p.m. in lovely little South Africa. And those are the ones. There's a couple of more that I'm getting a confirmation on the date. So please stick by ndbmedia.net. You can look at our main page and see what's going on. But we are so excited that we are getting people from The Voice. It is, we started it last year on season 24, and we had 2. Last year, for season 25, I think we had 6 or 7, Vernon, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere.
And we've had that many already for this season, and we haven't even gotten into the playoffs of the lives yet. So, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk to your audience and to tell our stories.
Yeah, stories are great. Stories are great. So again, everyone, thank you for coming. That's what's coming up on the network. Lots of other things. If you're interested in science fiction or sports, we've got stuff like that on our network too. So everyone, and travel. So that's for you.
Travel. There you go.
Yeah. So everyone,
more stories. I've got more of those too.
Oh, I bet you do. So everyone, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you.